question. It's a little bit of a longer one. I'm going to take a second here to read it. But I happen to know that you all work with many C-level executives throughout the country, and you've easily reduced their telecom spend by 20%. With government leaders having the same objective, I can't tell you how many government people I interview, and they say, Jimmy, what I want to hear most about is how to reduce my spend and apply the savings. When they're able to realize significant savings, these savings then can be reallocated or applied elsewhere to improve service to an organization. So could you comment on this? 20% is significant. Could you talk a little bit about how you all have gone in and helped an organization find savings, then apply it for something else?
Yeah, I would say some of our most successful engagements is definitely because we have C-level support. And we understand exactly what the C-level is looking for in terms of an ROI at the end of the day and what that means to their business. So we've got our objectives clearly laid out. The challenge is when you don't have a C-level involved, sometimes we're only working with a single division within a company. And the value is really, we may start there, but the value is really to look at the entire business, the entire enterprise. And when we can do that, then we can create a lot more efficiencies, a lot more optimization. We can create a lot more savings when we can take an entire look at the entire enterprise.
And I think the goal, whether you're a telecom provider, you're a products provider, hardware, software, is you want to sell product. You want to sell services. You want to sell solutions to your customers. It's what you're incentivized to do. It's how your business maintains and grows. And essentially, you all eliminate the need for an organization to know all the rules of the game, because you know the rules of the game and can guide them through those kinds of things. One of the questions I have, do you all typically fund yourself through the savings, or how does that work? If someone's able to save so much, it probably pays for any kind of service that LinkSource would do for them.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually. And I would say the first thing when we do sit with a customer, we really try to get them to take a step back and let's not worry about the carrier. Let's talk about the solutions, let's talk about the technology, and let's talk about the strategy. From there, we'll start to plug in the right suppliers at the end of the day. As it relates to paying for ourselves, yeah, we have yet to have an engagement where we didn't pay for ourselves significantly, 3-10 times over type of thing. And it really depends on the environment. But when we come in and we go through our full life cycle management, and when we implement a telecom expense management solution to help manage all the hard work that we just cleaned up with the customer, then we see that at that point it's all about cost avoidance and maintaining all the hard work and the cleanup that we just went through. And without a doubt, we've had a return on investment that this far supersedes what our costs are.
Excellent. I want to switch gears a little bit, and I want to kind of get behind the scenes of when someone actually plans to go out and do a procurement, do a spend. At a federal level, we call this capital planning investment control, CIPIC. States have different terms, but basically, whether it's a private organization or a government entity, you go into a planning mode where you're going to have to plan, buy, procure, and it's a very significant process. You put out an RFP, you have to wait the vendors come in and ultimately make a decision that's best, in private sector for your customers, government for your citizens. Talk to me a little bit. I know we've touched on how LinkSource Technologies works with the telecom lifecycle management, but you also go back and help organizations with the requirements and planning of a procurement. Talk a little bit about that for me.
Absolutely. That's basically the second step in our 6 steps for lifecycle management. And we've built an application over the last several years that's pending a patent right now that is called DirectRFP, and it runs all the RFPs. We provide a lot of the intellectual property, which is a lot of the questions for several different products and services related to telecom and security. Or we can take an existing RFP that you might have and you've already created, and we'll upload it into the system. It's been a huge differentiator for us as a company as it relates to potential competition. Mm-hmm. And we don't charge customers for it, because once you're a customer of LinkSource, you get access to our tools and resources. We build that into the process. And this system is, it's been very unique. So when we are running RFPs, it automates the entire process, has a 100% audit trail, has some scoring that's built into it. It also is a win for the vendors, and what I mean by that is nobody really likes to do RFPs at the end of the day. Nor do they like to repeat them on a regular basis. And what our system does is it does retain all the vendor responses, and it archives everything. So when a vendor participates in another RFP with the same question's been answered before, they'll see their default response and attachments. So they never have to repeat the same question twice when doing RFPs with LinkSource.
Let me know if I've got this right. I kind of want to paint a picture for our audience listening in. So we have procurement on one hand. That's, procurement goes out and finds the best of what they're told. We have technical on this other hand where they're giving the requirements for procurement. But in a sense, LinkSource Technologies is a bridge between those two organizations. I think, in government speak, it's a COTAR, contracting officer's technical rep. But essentially, you can take the technical, translate it to the procurement, do the procurement, and ultimately help that client get the best possible purchase for their telecom and security requirements. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's exactly what we do. We really do try to help bridge that gap, and we've done it successfully with several companies. We become part of the team, whether it's on the IT side with all our technical folks to the procurement side and supporting their efforts and helping them create some more efficiencies. And by taking the RFP system and understanding what the procurement team needs to go through and the information that they need to having to deal with legal, we bridge all those gaps, and we've been doing it for several years successfully.
So you all could really work in the governance of any organization or planning out their requirements. At the very beginning stages, LinkSource Technologies could come in and help them understand how to do that.
Correct.